Endless Evolution is a community engaged in the exploration of human experience. We engage with one another to understand our unique paths. We talk, we laugh, we heal, and we invite others to share this journey with us. Won't you join us? Endless Evolution.
So many humans, and where's the humanity?
And what do you know? I mean, listen, yeah, I know it's holiday time, y'all. It's coming up. I'm not so much into the particular holiday as I am to the spirit of it.
Right.
Just
Yeah,
being
us
in
too.
it with family and all that type of stuff. I know all of us are the same. So, then you think about anybody really when you think about where you are now, how you grown, how you evolved, all this stuff that's happening in your life. What can you say? For sure, how have you grown or where you at now? And what do you know? And sometimes that'll be, hey, the less I know, maybe the more the more I know, the less I know. Sometimes. But now, what would you say? You're coming to know.
I'm coming to know that
Yeah.
simplicity is best,
Mm,
right? Like
mm,
simplicity gives you time to think, breathe, process, be still or be active, whatever it is. It's just keeping things simple. And I remember a younger version of myself looking at older people in my life who were living very simply. And I don't mean materialistically, I mean just like they had one or two things on their agenda for the whole day and that was it. And I'm like, man, you could be accomplishing so much more. And now just realizing that it's not about what you accomplish, it's about how much you can pour yourself into whatever you're doing in that moment, how present you can be. But I wonder if that's just a natural progression of life and maturity, right? Like that we just learn that with time. Or is this younger generation? It's a wondering I have. Are they learning? Did we learn lessons? Did we somehow improve based on lessons that our parents learned? And is this generation improving somehow based on lessons that they've learned from us? Like that's a wondering. I don't know. Like did we do something differently than our parents or than our grandparents to make life better? And I tend to think about like parenting relationships and being intentional with our kids in good and bad ways. So our generations were far more empowered in terms of self advocacy and agency because we were the latchkey generation. We were raised to fend for ourselves in a lot of ways and figure out what snack we were going to have. Like our parents cared for us, but they weren't figuring everything out for us. And like as parents, we didn't do that for a lot of us. And I'm not speaking for all of us, right? But a lot of us fed, at our kids whatever they needed and made sure they weren't lacking for anything and they had everything at their disposal all the time. And it was like our life's goal to make their lives easier than our lives, right? And so I think in ways that actually created less self dependent people. And in ways by doing that, we thought we were forging more intimate present relationships with our kids because we were with them and everything. We're like, I can't tell you if my parents had any investment in my homework or academic life outside of me bringing home good grades because they just weren't involved. Yet I knew intimately what Soraya was studying, what was going through her backpack every night. You know what I mean? Like my mom, that's a difference that I see. So that's what I know for sure is that simplicity is best. But I wonder, has this generation learned that from us?
mm.
Are they making their lives simpler at a younger age? Because that would be great if they were. And I don't know if they are.
Yeah, that's good, Naomi. Yeah, I don't know. It's a wondering too. Part of me, it's like, we were talking about earlier that it's the same. The generations. Like with the phones when the phones came. It's the same type of thing. Even though it's an advance in technology and all this type of stuff, but the same type of transitions and changes that people went through whenever they were, whatever generation they were in. But it is different. It is. It is different. It is different now. It is different now with this technology and all that. And I wonder when you say that, I wonder, and I think about my parents too. I wonder if there's more fear now or less fear
Yeah.
raising children. And now y'all can speak to that more. I don't. I've been around a lot of kids all my life, but I don't have
I think
a
there's
child.
more
Yeah,
fear.
yeah,
I think the more you
yeah,
isolate from other human interactions and the
yeah.
more you try to control your circumstances, the
Hmm.
more fear you end up
Yeah,
creating. And we've tried to control so many circumstances for our kids that we've generated a world, riddled with fear.
hmm,
I mean, I remember when it started. I remember the commercials, right? Like when we were little of it's 7 o'clock, what, where your kids are, or stay in your backyard because there were kidnapping was like a real big thing in the late 70s and early 80s.
yeah,
I remember that starting to creep in and it just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And now parents don't let their kids go outside and play because they're fearful that somebody's going to come and snatch them. And like in
That's
today's
summer.
day and age, that's real fear.
yeah. That's real.
I don't see kids outside playing
I
in
don't
the
either.
summer.
No.
Um, wow.
Yeah, mostly might be in somebody's backyard pool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like I remember I got so happy a few summers ago. I saw a bunch of girls riding around the neighborhood on their bikes. And I was like, oh, wow, is it coming back?
I
Right?
know.
Because when do you see that anymore?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah. We love to hear the laughter of children playing, in our little
Mm.
street. But we live in a closed. Um, you've seen it, Nate. It's
Yeah,
more
yeah.
of a condo community, so it's not like a residential street. The kids come out and play and stuff, and it's good to see them. But they're all in. All the parents are out. It's not like they're out by themselves like we used
Right.
to be in the street, and parents would be inside.
Yeah,
All,
our
all
rule
the
was
kids
like
just
be
got out.
inside by this time. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. And
yeah.
we could get into all sorts of stuff, and we
Mm-hmm.
did. Our parents were not like hovering over us.
Yes,
We had to negotiate and figure out life for ourselves.
this is
In
true.
order to get into the house, my grandmother would lock the door, lock the screen in the summer. Like I had to, and a lot of times it wasn't even to use the bathroom. Like I had to convince her that I actually had to go to the bathroom, but like
Right,
you had to be hurt or bleeding or something like to
right.
get into the house. And it wasn't that she didn't love me, but it's like go be outside, go play, and I need a break from you all, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I
yeah,
know for sure that simplicity is best. I just wonder if that's just something that you learn with age and experience
yeah,
and life, or does that you know,
yeah, yeah. I think so. I think so. Now I feel it too, and I know it's coming with age and maturity, and you know, just I mean, I think you said it. The need not to accomplish any. I don't need the accomplishments. I don't need the attention. I don't need the pats on the back. I don't need that. And I have to ask myself, what am I doing it for? You know what I mean? And to keep things simple, and it adds to my peace to keep it simple. Nay, like you said, earlier, all this week you're doing stuff all week. You're doing stuff
yeah,
in evenings, and it's a couple of things I just had to. It's liberating to say no. I could. I signed up for them, right? I registered for them.
right,
It
right.
was like, nope, can't go.
I know.
I'm sorry, and I, end up in something. Someone asked me to be, and we don't need that anymore. Someone asked me to be on a board. I was like, can't do it. Of course, I didn't say it in
Right.
those words, but it's like, no, and yeah, keeping it simple, keeping it simple, really keeping it simple. Aaron, what do you think? I see you over there thinking, man. You like to thinking, man. I can see you, man. How have you grown, man? And what are you coming to know for sure as you evolve?
Spencer, let me first start by saying that is an excellent question.
Yeah,
That it it seems simple, but it's not.
yeah,
And I want to appreciate you and thank you for that question because it has me thinking,
Yeah.
like, you know, of all the things that I thought I knew or that, those who taught me thought they knew. And I would assume that they did know them in the classic sense of the word, but um, it is mine is not a, it's not a answer that's like that I could like put together if that
Hmm.
makes any sense.
Yeah.
But as I'm thinking about it, it's similar to what Naomi was just talking about, but just with a little bit of a deviation. Um, and that is stillness for sure. But like, I think one of the things I'm coming to know is that um, we are very simple creatures in what we need, what we actually need, um, and how we've desecrated our bodies for years in pursuit of something that our souls, our brains, our physical bodies did not need. And like I was always a kid who ate too much and didn't know when to stop. And I would, you know, at the end of the night, I would be sick, because my brain didn't tell me when to stop. And um, I view what's happening to us as individuals and collectively as that we are consuming so much without that mechanism in our brain turning on, telling us to
Mm.
stop. And it just like if I eat too much, my body in the middle of the night will reject it and it will get sick, because that's the clear and present thing. Our bodies are speaking to us and telling us that they're sick and telling us that we're maladaptive. Like we're we're not meant for this. We're not meant for what we've been enduring. And this is not a Trump conversation, not even a political conversation. This is a human being conversation. Like we're not built for and meant to consume, all of the food that we consume, all of the images and media and things that our brains weren't really meant to see or can't handle. Um, and um, like I get quickly overwhelmed now because I've like shed a lot of that. And Naomi has seen wasn't since Spencer you see me in person. I shed a lot of weight, and a lot of that is because I just let go. Can we curse on this? Like I just
Sure.
let go.
Yes.
I just let go of some shit. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think part of holding on to those things was this idea that I needed it. I needed, you know, and when I go out to eat, I gotta clean my plate off because that was what I was told. Like I gotta clean my plate.
Mm.
So I get into the cycle of overeating on every meal. Like, um, I gotta work hard, but working hard is just not enough. Like I gotta overwork. I gotta work more. I gotta do more than what I'm expected. Um, and so what I'm coming to know is like simplicity is what is going to help us heal. One of the things, not the complete and total package, but simplicity. I read something about love earlier today, like literally an hour before we got on this call, and I read something about like overconsumption of food. The thing I read about love is that to combat systemic, and it was in the context of racism, to combat systemic racism, we need systemic love. And it seems so simple of an idea, but and hard to enact, but like it is like the thing. And then I was reading something, I don't know how these are related, but it's just where my brain is going right now. Um, I was reading something about like fasting, and this is the second time I read this. Like fasting, yes, is a spiritual thing that we might do to help us grapple with a thing or grapple with a concept or something that's going on in our lives that we feel like we need to give up something in order to sacrifice. Um, I was reading this. I read this again twice in 1 week about how when we fast, like our body starts to heal itself. It starts to regenerate. It starts to expel all of the damaged cells. Um, your brain starts clearing up. Um, and you actually have a clarity of focus when you fast. Um, and but we were taught that you needed 3 meals a day. You got to have dairy, which my body has rejected from day one. You got to have dairy and meat and grain my body has rejected from day one. Like, and so like all of those complex things that we were taught, like our bodies are saying, no, we need simple. We don't need this. um and I learned that very acutely when I just had this might be TMI. I just had a colonoscopy, um, and I had to do 3 whole days of not eating. And the first day, I thought I was like, "What is this? What is this doctor thinking? Like, what does she know? How like I'm a large guy, like I need to eat." By that second day, like I was firing on all cylinders, and I don't know how that it's the opposite of what we were taught. And so like all of these things in my life that have been happening seem sort of fortuitous, but like I think they're coming together to help me to learn that message. Like it's it's simplicity that we need in order to heal.
I love that idea of systemic love. It reminds me of Valerie Kerr's revolutionary love approach, right? Like she says it all the time. I'm sure you guys have seen her. She's the one who came forward during the first Trump election and did that whole speech on the World Day of Religion and Healing and
Mm,
Spirituality about labor, right? About women when they give labor, that the intense pain is the whole process of labor. And so how do we think about this time in our lives as labor, right? That we are going through that transition to give
Wow.
birth to something better, right? To something that brings new life and new hope. And if we frame it like that and we surround it with love because we have so much love for a new baby when it's about to be born, right? That's what you go through and you're willing to go through that labor. So if we keep thinking about our future as the manifestation of our love, then all of this not becomes worth it, but it's like you put up with it and you figure it out and you work your way through because you know that that's coming, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Simplicity and love. What do you got, Spence? What do you know to be
I
true?
was I just wanted to comment on what you said too, Aaron. It's like we spend like half or more than half in of our lives learning, and then now we're in the part where we're
hmm.
unlearning so much stuff that we've been taught. I was taught the same thing: eat all that food on your plate.
Yeah.
Don't eat all that food on your plate. And that was like put in fear to do it. So you had eat it all, and then under the threat of fear, the threat of punishment or whatever. I mean, all those things. So unlearning, and then so I think part of what I know for sure, part of that, as I'm thinking about it now, is learning how much I don't know for sure.
Mhm.
Because I think knowing things on one level, knowing things for sure, has really created this separation, y'all. Right? I mean, it's like this idea of certainty. You know, I'm
Mhm.
certain about what I've learned. I'm certain about my religion. I'm certain about God. I'm certain about growth. I'm certain about this. And certainty is really got us all, but it's certainly gotten this country and this world in a place where we're just certain. We're fighting over certainty, you know, and and everyone wants to be attached to what they think is true. or what they think is the way. Um, and so one thing I know for sure, and is the impermanence of life too.
Mhm.
I know, and it really can help us to be freer. It's helped me to be freer to not latch on to even the permanence I created. Like if someone says, "Hey, if they're 20 something years old or 19 or whatever, and they say by 28 I'm going to do this, or by 32 I'm going to be married, by 33 I'm going to do this," and unlock ourselves into this thing. And if you don't get it, you can, start beating yourself up or feel guilt and shame that you haven't made it, whether it's anything, how much money you want to make, where you want to be in life, whatever that is. And so that is all of that stuff is created by this society we live in, of attaching to what's seen, the material stuff, the house, the thing, the relationships, and we want everything to stay the same. And so yeah, I don't know what I think what I know for sure is that I can't be locked in or imprison myself with what I thought or who I thought it should be or what I thought it should be and stuff like that. What's great about this and having this conversation with y'all, especially with Naomi, is that we've known each other for 20 something years.
Yep.
That's 25 years. 25 years to see each other grow and evolve and to know that we're not the same.
No.
Naomi's not the same person I met 25. I'm not the same person. You're not the same person I met last year. You know what I mean? We're just not the same. And like when you talk about the fasting, right? You talk about it allows the cells to regenerate and to change, and that we all do that. We all do that. But I know for me, there was and Naomi knows this for sure, that there was a portion in my life where I was, I don't know whether you want to call it mask, imposter syndrome, or whatever it is, that I really covered it up. I drank a whole lot. I drank a lot, you know what I mean? Or let's say when I did, I consumed a lot, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so it was filling some void of not it was filling some void, whatever that void was, whatever it happened, And so it is a manifestation, I think, of not being at peace, not being totally at peace with who you are in the moment, And I think we all can do that. I don't care if it's food, I don't care if it's drink, I don't care if it's smoking, I don't care what it is, sex. It can be all those things. And so I am probably now, Naomi, when you talk about whether it's maturity, whether it's age, I'm probably at the most peaceful, or certainly moving towards the most, feeling the most peace I've ever felt with who I am,
Mm-hmm.
and keeping it simple and not having to do anything and not having, you all know, you get to a certain point. I think everybody's there now where you really don't care as much about what people think
Mhm.
or about the gaze of other people about this. And so yeah, it really is the this kind of impermanence. And I've been looking at it and writing about it lately, and particularly in the Buddhist thought, is like the suffering comes from that. Suffering comes from the attachments to material things, or the way you used to be, or wanting people to be the same, and and so yeah, just the continued evolvement and growth, that nothing ever stays the same. I was sitting here this today, and my office is in the basement, so I can look right out the window, and I'm like, and all these leaves. There was a particular moment where just a bunch of leaves were falling off these trees. I was looking at them, I was like, damn, that's a lot of leaves. And then I thought about, damn, none of those leaves are the same.
Right.
Not one of those leaves
Right. They're
are
all
the
unique,
same.
right?
They're all unique. They're all unique. They're all different, yet they come from the same tree and stuff like that. And so, I think too, y'all, as we move to this endless evolution thing, what we're talking about, I think what we're witnessing now, right, is You're talking about impermanence. There's not even permanent thought in belief systems. People want to stay, they want to keep these belief systems,
Whatever they are. And
whatever they are.
yeah, it's not just spiritual belief, it's
No,
belief in
yeah,
lifestyle
yeah.
and
They want to keep,
an
yeah,
eating regime, like in
yeah,
a
yeah,
exercise workout. Yeah.
yeah, 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 and yeah, and everything, and then uh, I was talking the other day, and this whole "Make America Great Again." It's almost the same when I hear people talk about when I hear men talk about, just because I'm in those spaces a lot, that I want a throwback woman. They say I want a throwback woman. You know,
Or a
you
trad
already
woman,
know what that
trad
means.
wife. Yeah.
Yeah, you already know what that means. A trad wife, and these things are coming out now where people want more of a trad wife. You know what I'm trad wife. Who's gonna be like my mother, or my grandmother was, or my great grandmother was. You know what I mean? Holding on to certain thoughts and beliefs and not evolving, and there's that tension there. But it also starts inside. So letting go and surrendering what I thought I knew,
Yeah.
what I thought I knew.
So it
Yeah,
speaks to me, a couple things come up because when I talk to my elders, or just elderly people
yeah,
who've lived a long life, one of the things that seems to be true across their experiences is that they remained open to change and evolution. That part of their
yeah.
longevity is due to the fact that they weren't just set in their ways
That's
around
right.
mindset and
That's right.
around ways of living, and they had these vast experiences that were so different along the course of their life, right?
Yeah.
And that reminds me of I used to keep this on my, when I was first in leadership classes, they're like, write your vision, your mission, your belief statements, keep it up on your wall. And so, what's always spoken to me has very much been the the lyrics of a Barbara Streisand song. And so, like
Oh,
my little Broadway inner child's gonna come out. I'm not singing, but
Did you
Barbara Streisand
was
in her
waiting
movie,
for
the
it.
no,
musical?
Yeah, you're right.
in her movie Yentl, right, has a song at the end of it called A Piece of Sky. And some of the
Mm,
lyrics are, the more I live, the more I learn. The more I learn, the more I realize, the less I know. And if we can just keep that ever present, right? Like, I don't know as much as I think I know. And if I can keep myself open to learning and growing every single day, one, I don't use lose my youthful spirit,
yeah,
and but I also humble myself and get more simple and more at peace because as soon as you release this idea that you have control, that you know everything, that you can move everything, um, you do become more peaceful, right? You do become more relaxed and more released. And so that also reminds me that there's been a lot of talk around, there's been in recent years a lot more attention to menopause for women, right? And recognizing it as a significant change. And the other day I saw something that I'm like, that's it right there. Menopause really isn't the death of something. It's actually the renaissance and birth of a
mm,
woman who can release herself from all types of control. Types of
mm,
control related to her body, related to society, related to expectations, control about what her roles should be. And so, if you also experience women in menopause and postmenopause, they become much more outspoken, much more confident in what they want, much more willing to say, I don't give a fuck. I'm going
Mhm.
to do and say what I need to do. And if we look at our
yeah,
elderly mothers, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, you see, or aunts, right? The female versions of those, you see that as they get older, they get more and more outspoken. They
yeah.
get more and more truthful, right? And it's
Yes,
because they too have leaned into, I don't know everything, I don't control anything, and now no one controls me either. So
yes.
if anything, we can learn from that divine feminine example
There's no
of
question.
menopause being a renaissance, right? And if we can all
Yes,
lean into our own renaissance of relinquishing control, the control we put on ourselves, the
yes,
controls that we try to have onto others or onto our circumstances, we will all be more free more relaxed and have that simpler life. So I just,
Um,
Hey, that's so true. You know what came to mind as soon as you said that. I had the as I was talking to you about I enjoy it recently, and I experienced it with my mother too. You know, and if um, when my mother in 2008 was going through her stages, right, and moving towards her transition, and hospice came in and told me everything that I would experience.
hmm
That this is what you're going to see. But there's something, if you ever are around someone who's making a transition, as they get closer to it, they become more radical, they become more saying what they want to say. You know what I mean? They become, like my mother was a quiet person. She really wasn't loud and boisterous, and she had a quiet power to her and things like that. But as it got closer, she started saying what was on her mind more, and I think it's and certainly as you're talking about fasting, Naomi, as we're all talking about, really, it's like um, it's like always a spiritual death and a rebirth.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And we see it in the physical, and I saw it in the physical when I joined, and my mother as they got to there, because death is not the end either. It's just the transition. Even that's my belief anyway. And so, but I think it is like that menopause, the death and a rebirth. The death of the old self. And I think the different traditions talk about that in different ways. But it is the rebirth, um, and I think it comes from all of us now, and all those who might be listening, not being afraid. Um, that word, not being afraid of being reborn. Because you have to let something
right.
die. You have to let something die in order to be reborn. You know what I mean? And so, I know, I certainly know that to be true. But we can't avoid that or resist that anymore. And I think that's some of our peace too. I'm not resisting it. We're not resisting it.
I thought of so many things as you all were talking.
Yeah.
One that kind of have stayed with me because I'm trying to focus on listening rather than waiting to talk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
a
Me too.
couple things that stayed with me um, was one, this idea that we are new, like when you Spencer, when you were talking about knowing Naomi for 25 years and you're a different person. Um, I believe that our bodies like physically regenerate themselves every year. So at least once a year, we have our bodies have killed the old cells or dispelled the old cells and new ones regenerate. So like after that takes a year to do that. So literally in a year's time, you are totally different physically. um, and then the other thing that kind of came up for me was um, this this idea of like shedding the old self. Um, and we are expected to be so many. This came up when you were talking about women. We are expected to be so many different versions of ourselves depending on who we're with.
Mm,
Um, and uh, just maybe again going back to your question, Spencer, maybe it's a function of age. Like I don't know if it's something that I'm coming to know or if it's something like a maturity that I've lived into because of the age that I am now. But like I don't want to be 10 different errands. Like I don't want to do that. I want to, and I know I can't be the same way every time, but I don't want to have to wear that mask
mm.
in different situations. Tiffany had me on the phone earlier today and she had me on speaker and I didn't know I was on speaker. And she was in the car with her father and I'm just going in. And so she I'm like, wait, am I on speaker? She's like, yeah. I'm like, why did you say something? So I texted Blake and I said, Blake, mom had me on speaker with granddad in the car. And he was like, oh, he's like,
He knew right away.
yeah, he knew right away. He's like, what'd you say? I was like, dude, I was just being me. that that a light bulb went off for me. Like, I was being me. So why was I upset that someone else was going to hear that version of me? Um, and so as we're talking about changing and going through a metamorphosis, whether it be physically or spiritually or psychologically, um, I guess one of the Spencer, damn, I told you this question is so good, man. One of the things I'm coming to know is that I am, or coming to understand, or maybe believe that I'm okay. I'm okay with who I am, as flawed as I am in some regards, or as, I like to think I've mastered a couple of things. Like, whatever that case may be, anywhere along that continuum, all of those are okay.
Sounds like self-love to me.
Oh,
It
man.
really
Oh,
does.
that was the other thing. I thought
It really
thank you.
does.
Thank you, Naomi. Um, uh, thank you. You said something about love, and I went there. Like, if you are if you love yourself and you've come to that point of self-actualization, like real self-actualization, it doesn't even yes, it matters less what others say or think about you, but it matters less to you as a function of who you are. It matters less who they are. So it's okay, because it's okay to be who you are,
Yes, it
then
is.
it makes it okay for them to be who they are.
Yeah,
Correct. Yep.
that's right. It starts inside. Yes, you're absolutely right.
And so love, that power of love, right?
Mm,
Really comes through as what I know to be true. That
mm-hmm.
love, and I don't mean just, kumbaya, holding hands,
Yeah,
performative love, but I mean
right.
deep love where that's acceptance, that's embracing the positives, the negatives, the flaws, the attributes, like all of it, for yourself is the first step if we're truly to heal collectively and evolve endlessly. We've got to love ourselves, because only when we love ourselves can we truly love and accept other people, to your point, Aaron, right? It doesn't matter that so and so is of that belief system. I can interact with them, and because I love myself so much, and I know that sounds conceited maybe if you don't put it in context, but it's that I love and accept my humanity so much. And if I can love humanity that much in myself, I can love it in other people.
Yeah,
I can see it in other people,
yeah,
and remind myself that that humanity exists. And again, this is a process. I've come to know that that's true. It does not mean that I've mastered the practice of that.
mm-hmm.
Right? And I think that's our lifelong mission
Yeah,
is to master the
yeah,
practice of that. I think that is the existence of divinity and God in this world, right? Because no matter your belief system, if you hold your divine spirit, the divine spirit that you believe in, and you believe that that exists purely in every single human on this planet, then learning to love that divinity in everybody is learning to be the most humane person around and how humanity evolves. So that doesn't mean whether you're Christian or Muslim or
yeah,
Jewish or Hindu, or it's that divinity that I'm talking about.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's in us. It's in
Yeah,
us.
it is. It's in us, Nate. Nate. I mean, I love. I'm not a scholar by any means, right? By any means of the Bible or any other
Well,
sacred
you are
text.
a doctor of theology,
Yeah,
so
yeah, but I'm not still not an expert because the idea, right? The idea for and I know we joke around. The idea, and you helped me become. Thank you. The idea is to embody these things, to embody love, to embody forgiveness, to embody that. And when you said that, Nate, it's like I think about Jesus as this thing says, "What good is it to love others who only love you?
Hmm.
What good is it to love others who only think like you? What good is it to love others who only give you that back? The challenge is, right? The challenge is to love others. Now, not with a romanticized love, you understand, but
Right.
but yeah, you understand. What good is it for us to stay in that box and only love those who love us back or love us the way we want to? All that. That is the ongoing the ongoing challenge of evolution, in this evolution, because it's easy to get locked in. Suffering happens. Trauma happens. Shit happens in this society. It's easy to get locked into your own pain in your own group and your own tribe. But what good is it? You have to be able to embrace others. And every day, you're talking about this. Every day, there's an opportunity to smile at someone. Where to smile at someone, to say hello to someone, to embrace someone who doesn't look like you, and you don't even have to know what they think. I don't care. I don't even have to ask them.
Right.
What party are you in? Are you? No,
Yeah.
no, no. You know. So yeah, that's it, Naomi. That divinity. And Aaron, I'll say one more thing. I wrote this down because you said that I'm okay. I'm okay. And I think that's a place to come to. It's certainly been a place for me too, because I don't know if you all watched this. I watched Eric and I watched it together. Married at First Sight. We all love watching Married at First
I
Sight.
have watched it.
We love Married at First Sight. But on one of these episodes, one of the guys was talking to the woman he's married to, and he said I've had a hard time just being myself because there was so much pressure growing up. My dad was a general in the army, and then my granddad was a colonel. And the expectation was on me. You know what I mean? The expectation. And so you're always trying to go some because you're living up to that expectation, of what somebody else expected, what you're supposed to be. I'm okay. Then you're a person of color or a black man or something. They say you got to be two times better. You got to be two, three times better. You got, all these things,
Yeah.
can translate into I'm not okay.
Right.
And I got to do this to be okay. And I got to keep doing it. And it's a never ending chase. It's a never ending chase. But you said, well, you or Naomi said to sit still and know. Sit still and know
Yeah.
that I am okay. Just I don't need all of. I'm okay. And anybody who said anything to you that you translated into not being okay, let them go and forgive them too,
Yeah.
and embody that, and realize that maybe someone told them they weren't okay,
Right.
and in their lack of healing, they told you the same thing. But you can heal that, and we can stop all that. So we are okay. We are okay just as we are,
Yeah.
just as we are, and it starts inside, and you can embrace everybody else. You can, you can, we can. Now, I used to think, and say this since we know each other 20, 25 years, I used to think this idea of impermanence
Yeah.
and detachment um, meant somehow that you keep yourself emotionally at arm's length,
Mm.
because things can come and go, and you don't want to, you don't want to embrace them too much.
Right.
To be indifferent or aloof a little bit, because not on purpose. It's just because you're
A protective measure.
protecting yourself
Yeah.
or whatever. But the idea, when you really embrace the truth of it, it allows you to love even deeper.
Yep.
It allows you to be present even more. You know what I mean? It allows you to be even more vulnerable in those things. That's really the idea of it. And so that's another thing I know for sure. And so um, I'm glad to be with y'all and modeling that for people and for ourselves.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah,
I know for sure that you two are phenomenal human beings, and I'm blessed
yeah,
to share this world with you and this path that we're on together.
yeah,
And I know for sure that, like us, there's a gazillion other people out there, and it's
yeah,
really just about opening ourselves up and encouraging other people to open
yeah,
themselves up to others, to break out of that house of mirrors, right? House of Mirrors isn't a horror show normally. It's in a right, it's a haunted thing because you get
yeah.
stuck in a house of mirrors if all you have are
Mm,
similar people to you.
mm.
That's a nightmare that you can't break out of. You can't find your way forward, right?
Woo.
You need that fracture of light to break through Plato's cave theory. If all you know is what's in the cave and you don't see what that light is letting you see on the
Right,
outside of the
right.
world, you narrow your worldview and your experiences. So
Yeah,
I am blessed to be with you. I hope other people can open themselves up to find those blessings for themselves, whichever way they can.
Well, I feel the same about you too.
Yeah.
It's just I'm it's not necessarily about this, but I have not in my lifetime had a lot of like people that I would call friends.
Mm.
And so I am proud to say that you are my friends. Like, and I say that um without any hesitation whatsoever. And so this these this last year or so and these experiences that we've had and these conversations that we have allowed me to know you a little bit better. But then when Spencer jumps in and asks questions like this, it allows me to know myself a little bit better, right?
Right.
Um, so I appreciate you both.
So in this season of gratitude, that's what I'm grateful
Oh,
for.
man, listen, me too.
That's
Me
it.
too. Me too. And you all listen. Look at your calendars, and I'll read this quote as we close out. Look at your calendars and see if you can do breakfast December 3rd. Um, December 3rd. I'll come in December 3rd through the 6th for the services. Pick up my brother on the 4th, the morning of the 4th, so that I can.
I can do breakfast on the 3rd.
3rd. Okay. Okay. That's a Wednesday.
That's a
I
Wednesday.
think,
It, I have to check
yeah. Okay.
only because I will be going back to Tennessee.
Okay.
I'll most likely be back, but I don't.
Okay.
Blake flight leaves out on Wednesday, and I don't know what time it leaves out.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Okay.
let us know.
Or possibly Friday. I don't know if you'll be back or you'll be gone Friday.
Friday for sure. I'll be open and available, but
Friday
Yeah.
might be available too. Yeah.
I'm available as well. So,
Friday. Okay.
unfortunately, to all the listeners who's ever listening to this episode, you are not invited to breakfast. We love you, but
Yeah.
it's
This
just
is
for
our
us.
plan. This is our time. This is our time, everybody.
at an undisclosed
This is our
location.
planning time. Listen, before I'll read this quote, Nay, and I'll turn it to you to close it out. And I'll just read this. I already had this up by Pima Children. And she says, oh man, this is great for endless evolution. She says, impermanence is a principle of harmony. Impermanence is a principle of harmony. When we don't struggle against it, we are in harmony with reality. When we don't struggle against it, we are in harmony with reality. Yeah, so it's a blessing to evolve with y'all and evolve in this moment of now. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you both, and I wish you both a blessed time with your families in the
Yes.
next couple weeks, and we'll look back after this coming holiday and
Yes.
go Lions. I hope they win.
Yeah. Peace and love. I don't really peace and love. Let's not. I don't even. Oh, I'll see y'all next week.
That's right.
I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Oh, I'm still got a little some feelings about the
Oh
Lakers.
man. Oh
All right.
man. All right. Love you
Love
both.
y'all. Okay.
All right, let's
Peace and
go.
love.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This episode of Endless Evolution is brought to you by the No Harm Organization, uplifting wholeness and humanity. Our featured music is Humanity by Lava Laru.